What if I told you most men are not rejected because of how they look, but because of what they broadcast without even speaking? Not your clothes, not your height, not your money, but something far deeper, something most men never even think about. Because attraction is not something you chase, it's something you become. And once you understand this, you'll realize you were never not enough. You were just unaware of the signals you were sending. There is a silent language that every woman understands long before a man says a single word. It's not taught in schools, it's not written in books most men read, but it decides everything. Why one man walks into a room and naturally gets attention, while another tries too hard and gets ignored. The truth is simple but powerful. Attraction is not created by effort. It is created by energy, presence, and internal identity. And today, we're going to break down the secret traits that make a man instantly attractive, without pretending, without chasing, and without losing himself in the process. Because once you master this, you won't need to chase attention anymore. You'll naturally become the man attention is drawn to. Attraction does not begin with how a man looks on the outside, but with the identity he carries within himself. Before a word is spoken, people already form an impression based on how a man sees himself and how he believes he is valued. A man who is uncertain about his worth often communicates that uncertainty through his posture, tone, and behavior, even if he tries to hide it. On the other hand, a man who has developed a strong inner identity naturally carries a sense of direction and self-respect that others can feel without explanation. This inner identity is built over time through self-awareness, discipline, and personal growth. It is shaped by the standards a man sets for himself, not by the opinions of others. When a man knows who he is and what he stands for, he no longer feels the need to constantly prove himself. That quiet confidence becomes the foundation of natural attraction. Women are not simply responding to external qualities. They are responding to the stability and clarity a man holds within himself. When a man is internally grounded, he does not react emotionally to every situation or seek constant validation. Instead, he moves with purpose, and that sense of purpose creates a strong presence that naturally draws attention. This is why two men with similar looks or resources can be perceived completely differently. One may appear forgettable, while the other feels magnetic. The difference is not outside, it is inside. Inner identity is the silent force that shapes how the world responds to a man, and once it is strengthened, attraction becomes a natural outcome rather than something forced or chased. Energy and presence are often more powerful than words, appearance, or even actions. Before a man speaks, people are already responding to the energy he brings into a space. This energy is not something mysterious. It is the result of his emotional state, his confidence level, and how comfortable he is within himself. A man who is anxious, uncertain, or constantly overthinking will unconsciously project that tension, and others will feel it immediately. In contrast, a man who is calm, grounded, and aware of himself creates a sense of stability that naturally draws attention. Presence is not about trying to dominate a room or acting overly confident. It is about being fully in the moment without seeking approval or validation. When a man is truly present, he is not distracted by fear of judgment or the need to impress others. He listens more deeply, speaks more naturally, and moves with a quiet assurance that feels genuine rather than forced. This authenticity creates comfort in others, and comfort is one of the strongest foundations of attraction. What most people don't realize is that energy communicates faster than language. Long before words are processed, the brain picks up signals of confidence, tension, openness, or insecurity. That is why some individuals can enter a room and immediately shift its atmosphere without saying anything. Their presence alone feels steady and intentional. Developing strong presence requires awareness and emotional control. It means learning to slow down internally, to stop reacting impulsively, and to remain centered even in uncertain situations. When a man masters this, he stops chasing attention and starts naturally attracting it, because people are instinctively drawn to those who feel stable, composed, and real. Neediness is one of the fastest ways a man destroys attraction without even realizing it. It often comes from a place of insecurity, where validation from others feels necessary to feel worthy or accepted. When a man operates from this mindset, his behavior subtly changes. He becomes overly eager, overly available, and emotionally dependent on how others respond to him. Instead of expressing himself freely, he starts adjusting himself based on reactions, approval, or attention. This creates imbalance, and that imbalance is immediately felt by others. Self sufficiency, on the other hand, creates a completely different dynamic. When a man is emotionally and mentally complete within himself, he no longer seeks constant reassurance from others to feel stable. He can enjoy connection without dependency, and he can walk away from situations that do not align with his self respect. This independence is not about arrogance or isolation, it is about inner stability and emotional maturity. The more a man tries to get attention or approval, the more it pushes people away, because it creates pressure in interactions. People naturally resist pressure, especially in emotional or social settings. But when a man is not chasing anything, his energy feels light, calm, and unforced. That lack of pressure creates comfort, and comfort often leads to curiosity and attraction. Self-sufficiency also changes the way a man communicates. He speaks with intention instead of desperation. He listens without trying to impress. He responds without fear of loss. This creates a powerful shift in perception, because now he is no longer seen as someone who needs validation, but as someone who already has value. True attraction grows when a man stops trying to be chosen and starts choosing his own path. That shift alone transforms how others respond to him. Authenticity is one of the most powerful traits a man can develop, yet it is also one of the most commonly misunderstood. Many men believe they need to act differently, speak in a certain way, or adopt a personality that they think is more appealing. This creates performance instead of presence. When a man is performing, he is not truly expressing himself. He is trying to manage how others perceive him. That effort creates tension, and that tension breaks natural connection. Authenticity means being consistent with who you are, regardless of the situation or the audience. It is the ability to remain real, even when it is uncomfortable or uncertain. A man who is authentic does not change his values, tone, or behavior just to gain approval. Instead, he allows his true personality to exist without filtering it for acceptance. This does not mean being careless or rude. It means being honest and grounded in self-awareness. People are naturally drawn to authenticity because it creates trust. When someone is real, you do not have to guess their intentions or decode their behavior. There is clarity, and clarity creates comfort. In contrast, when someone is constantly trying to impress, it creates doubt and unpredictability, which weakens connection. Authenticity also removes pressure from interactions. Instead of thinking about what to say next or how to appear impressive, a man who is authentic focuses on being present in the moment. This makes conversations flow naturally and allows genuine connection to develop without force. Over time, authenticity builds a strong internal foundation. A man becomes less affected by judgment and more aligned with his true self. This inner alignment is what creates long-term respect and natural attraction, because people are always more drawn to what is real than what is performed. When you put all of this together, the truth becomes very clear. Natural attraction is never about chasing, performing, or forcing outcomes. It is about becoming the kind of man who is internally strong, emotionally stable, and genuinely grounded in who he is. When a man builds a solid inner identity, he stops seeking approval and starts living with direction. When he develops calm energy and strong presence, people begin to feel safe and drawn to him without explanation. When he removes neediness and embraces self sufficiency, he creates space for respect instead of pressure. And when he chooses authenticity over performance, he builds real connection instead of temporary impressions. These are not tricks or techniques, they are transformations. They require awareness, discipline, and honesty with oneself. But once they are developed, everything in a man's external life begins to change naturally. He no longer has to chase attention because his presence speaks for him. He no longer has to force attraction because his energy creates it. And he no longer has to pretend because his real self becomes enough. The final understanding is simple yet powerful. Attraction is not something you pursue outside. It is something you cultivate within. And the moment you shift your focus inward, you stop trying to be chosen and start becoming the man who is naturally noticed, respected, and valued.